respond
You
to
know
this.
how the North feel about Bola Tinubu right now. Does that worry you?
Well, let me respond this way. The perception out there is that the North is not with Bola Tinubu.
Are they?
My response is that the idea that the North is monolithic is erroneous. I was born in the North. I lived in the North for over 35 years before I made it to the Southwest. I built friends. I worked in the North. I schooled in the North. As a journalist, I started reporting from the North. I've interviewed so many top Northern leaders. So without going into the dynamics of the development within the North, let me start by saying every geopolitical zone or region in this country, through its leaders who attain prominent political positions in government, have a responsibility to their own people and to their own region. So starting point is, just like the North, the Southwest, the South-South, the Southeast must first hold up the screening for the leaders who have been in power, who are still in power. What have they done? What are they doing for their people? That's one. Two, you see, the jury is out about whether the North is against Bola Tinubu. Like I said, I don't have any empirical data to that. And I also play a major role in Hausa radio broadcast. I consume a lot of TikTok and social media, whatever. And you can see, just as you find perhaps a tribe or a segment of people in the North who are not happy with certain developments, certain appointments, certain policies in the North, you also find them in the Southwest. You find them in the Southeast. I want to depart from this idea of the North. The North is not Nigeria. Nigeria is about the six geopolitical zone. It's about the Yoruba man, the Hausa man, the Igbo man, the ethnic nationalities, the Ijaw man. And that's what governance at the highest level is about. That's what Bola Tinubu is about. He's concerned more about what benefits the entire country. Because you see, when you pander to sectional politics, then you lose focus. In fact, it's a script for failure. And we've seen tendencies to try and package and force this administration into that cleavage of, Northern, Southwestern, Yoruba. No, because this president understands, as a statesman and as a progressive, and given his experience, understands that the mandate he got, the assignment he signed for, is a Nigerian mandate. It's not a Northern mandate. It's not a Southwestern mandate. And you've seen the balancing act. You see, in 4 years, there will be appointments. In 4 years, there will be decisions made. We're just 2 years down the road. People are jumping the gun. People are writing the score, the results. You see, what you can have a scorecard that marks progression, but we're having people now giving the result. No, it's not time yet for results.
Let me tell you. Out of the 10 biggest election political numbers in the country, and you're speaking to a political journalist. Out of those 10, you have the biggest states in the North occupying, they're sitting number 6. I mean, in the 1 to 6. You talk about Kano, Kaduna, Katsina, Bauchi, in terms of voting numbers.
Yeah, voting numbers, yes.
And they've always done it. And don't forget, also, I'm from the North, so I can also tell you, it is only in the North.
The numbers right now.
So I'm doing the numbers. I'm doing the numbers, and I'm telling you, the cultural values, the orientation of the average Northerner is loyal to two people. Loyal to the religious leader. Loyal to his sheikh. And in that sense, go to the South, the orientation is so different. The unison or the unification of direction is not there like that in the South. Absolutely. Unlike the North. The Sultan can say one thing and the rest of the North goes that way. The biggest and the biggest voices, the ulamas, you know how the Northern man respect the ulamas, the sheikh, they say one thing and everybody goes in that way.
Absolutely.
I relate so much with a lot of these people, but if all of them are singing from the same hymn book,
so right now,
don't you think that the Tinubu administration second term is in jeopardy?
So right now, I can tell you, Seun, for sure, that they are not singing from the same hymn book.
Really? Did not?
Because
you think the noise is divided?
See, off the radar, a lot of conversations, a lot of engagements are going in a penetrative way. Not just in the north, because I keep saying, look, I don't want to fall into that cleavage. But since we are putting the north out there, engagement with clerics, engagement with religious leaders, engagement with intellectuals, engagement with former public officials in the north to make sure that whatever the fears and concerns of the north are, they are dealt with. You see, it's a delicate game because if you have a Nigerian mandate, you must be seen to be fair and neutral. But also, in that neutrality, you are able to pay attention to specific concerns. Because when you look at it, the needs of the North, some of their needs might be different from the needs of the people in the South, for instance, the Ogoni people. So, to say that everybody in the North is singing from the same hymn book, is not right. I can also reel off several sheikhs who have come out beyond endorsement, who have come out to help project the work of government. Again, I think it's too early to start counting the votes right now. And why do I say that? Some of the policies of this government and initiatives, some of them are still ongoing. People are beginning to benefit more. So to start to count the votes now, it's too early.
If we were in the U.S., which you worked for several years, there would have been midterm elections by now.
Yeah, but
and usually
we don't have a midterm election.
But there is also a midterm check on what the administration is doing.
Just
in this midterm, by now, the Congress would have been split into rather red or blue as we speak right now.
Yes.
It's either the president is holding on to the National Assembly or he has lost it by midterm.
This president,
some governors would have lost their seats.
As per the midterm report, May 29th, this president is not a question of holding on to the National Assembly. This president clearly has succeeded in recalibrating the economy of this country. He has succeeded in changing the dynamics of our economy with strong indicators. And you know, some of these figures have been out there. That's why I'm not even reeling them out.
But why is the president so less popular than he was 2 years?
Who gave that verdict?
I mean, you saw the API poll.
No,
the API poll.
Go to the back end.
But you know what they say about the microcosm of the macrocosm.
Again,
you sample.
What is the sample size
from the pond?
You need to check. You need to check
when you
the
check
sample size.
You can't drain your whole blood to get your DNA.
You know.
You have to take a sample.
That's what they call selective auditioning. So you have people can decide. Let's even leave perception. Let's talk about selective auditioning. Even when you can see the facts before you, you decide, no, I will be selective in the kind of content. You can be deliberate in looking for negative content about Bola Tinubu. If you're also deliberate in looking for positive content about his popularity and the rest, you will find it. Because that's part of my work.
How disturbing will it be for you, Mr. Dare?
I search out for content that are positive, content that are testimonials that say, this man is doing something. I deliberately search for them, because that is part of my work. But I also search for negative. And I find both.
But for the man that you know, he's popular?
Yes.
Bola Tinubu is popular?
Yes.
If you go to the poll today, do you think he can win an election?
Yes.
In today's Nigeria?
Yes.
With the 36% of votes last time?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Are you living in Nigeria?
Last time, 2 years ago. 2 years ago, we had an election. Then you had not had the benefit of a President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. In this country today, we've seen so many converts. Those that said, crucify him. Who is he to remove fuel subsidy? 2 years down the road with Bola Ahmed Tinubu as president, many of them have come back to say, of course, you know they won't come out. When they say crucify him, by the time they say, oh, he's doing... Close-set supporters who have said, wait a minute. This man he bit the bullet that time for the sake of our country. How many leaders could have done that?
How disappointing would it be for you if it's this man that you have known for several years, about 30 years, this man that you think you understand
I
how his
believe.
mind is running and what works in his mind, how damaging would it be for him if he doesn't get a re-election
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be re-elected
in
for a second.
2027?
Yes.
What
He will
gives
be re-elected.
what gives you that confidence?
Primarily because from the policies and the reforms he has put in place, and also because, policies take time. When you look at the top economic experts, they give it a time of between 4 to 6 years before you can really see. I'm talking about key policies now, not even initiatives.
That if the voters see
but we
those
have seen,
reforms,
when you look at the alignment of policies touching on key sectors of the economy, look at the solid minerals economy, for instance, lithium and copper and all of this. The size of the world is now. It took this president to give the support, the focus in that sector. Our oil sector, what the story before now is different from what we have. The educational sector, the agri sector, the health sector. As we speak, 5,000 primary health centers are being reinvigorated. Already 1,000 are fully operational. I can go on and on. Let me just, I think by the share, when you sit down and you look at, in just 2 years, you look at the sheer number of policies, the sheer number of initiatives that have been onboarded by this administration, you will see a leadership adept and conversant with development. But more critically, a president that understands that this giant has been punching below its belt, who is now waking up some of those critical things that we preferred to sidestep or just procrastinate about. Is beginning to interrogate them and beginning to confront them, the devils that have held this country down. So that's what happens often.
He's looking at those policies are at the detriment of his electability.
Well, see, that's an interesting postulation. So the line I've been trying to draw right from the beginning is that as a leader, you have the choice to choose between embracing populism or forgoing populism and saying, I will do what is right for my country and for my people. And people often say, oh, don't compare us to other leaders. No, leaders are leaders. Lee Kuan Yew and others, Margaret Thatcher and others, they made a difference because they chose the road less traveled. When Margaret Thatcher left, she wasn't the most popular person. But Britain looks back today. They pick out some of our policies and they say, no, she was ahead of her time.
And we hear that Bola Tinubu says he wants to be the Lee Kuan Yew of Nigeria.
Well, I've not.
Is that what he mounts?
I've not heard that anywhere. He just wants to make sure that he turns things around, he improves the economy of this country. He's somebody who believes that without a strong economy, every other thing will not work.
But
So
why,
the idea of, I don't know where that
why
came
this
from.
perception that you people are already have a grand plan to write the election result in 2027 and manipulate INEC?
Your own perceptions can be wrong, and then you cannot call the result of a match even before the referee kicks off the game.
Because
I mean,
the
so
view that going into the
people-
election of
people have been
2027,
pushing
that Bola
certain
Tinubu and the APC does not have a chance.
Seun, you are an experienced journalist, and we know that we've seen over time these narratives being pushed for every election. It's not different. These narratives, there are people whose work is to push certain narratives, and they're the same. When Obasanjo was there, forget the talk about third term, we had the same narratives. It will write the election. It will override this. When the tsunami that took over all the states in the Southwest occurred, narratives. So the narratives will come, but the narratives are not the facts. Like I said, you can't call the result of a football match even before the referee signals the start.
They say if INEC is neutral, that there is no chance on green earth for a Bola Tinubu and an APC re-election in 2027. But if you look at what...
So who is making that declaration?
No, you heard El-Rufai say that they will send the president packing.
Is El-Rufai 110 million Nigerians that will vote? How many voters does El-Rufai command? Even if you command them, can you decide who they will cast their votes for? You know what the Yorubas say? Tobarawo me.
Oh, really?
Rino me. So let me you see, let me, you know, you brought in El-Rufai, and you know, I have respect for him. But this idea to equate El-Rufai with Nigeria, to equate El-Rufai with millions of votes, I think is an overreach.
Atiku has said it. Peter Obi has said it.
For one El-Rufai, there are several other El-Rufais who command larger votes, better influence, who are key to the transformation taking place in this country. And we are focused on looking at other key Nigerians.
Oh, look at
El-Rufai is not bigger than any other Nigerian because everybody has a stake in this country.
I mean,
we must respect that.
There are those who fear that El-Rufai can bring this government down and can stop this president because he knows he was one of those who helped to form the party.
My response to that would be go and read Obasanjo's book, My Command.
I've read it.
A living testimony to the very essential core of the person we're talking about. You know Obasanjo is former president. You know who made El-Rufai a minister? You know that? When you talk about the 4 or 5 close-set ministers with him, El-Rufai was there. If you want to list 4 people that know El-Rufai, essentially, when he was at his best and politically, is an Obasanjo. I will stick with Obasanjo's testimony about El-Rufai. You said you've read the book.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm just one of the millions of people who are going to be watching this.
No, I don't want to make this an El-Rufai whatever.
No,
honestly.
But what was it?
Shaun, you're trying to...
No.
But you see, what I've gleaned from there, you know shifting sands? That is somebody you cannot... is somebody that can change on you. Somebody who... And I think everybody is driven by interest. Your interest, the moment it doesn't align with mine, you have a right to walk away.
Because he says that he sees that is the point that where is not it started changing when he sees that this government does not have the interest of Nigerians at heart. And I'm worried.
This is a person who stood up to make sure that power returns to the South. He led that battle. At some point, he went to court to challenge the former president, Muhammadu Buhari. This is a person who campaigned on the platform of APC with Bola Ahmed Tinubu very fervently. This is a person who was part of building up the manifesto of the APC. Listen to me. So we have a journey of 10 kilometers. And this person was part of that journey for 7 kilometers.
He said it was a journey to nowhere. That's why he backed out.
But he was part of that journey.
He said the journey was to nowhere.
He was at the table. It was at the meeting. So when did it occur to him that this journey was a journey?
He agreed and he took ownership. He said he was responsible.
Should we be responsible for the fact that
he called this government a demon, a devil that he helped, an evil that he helped create, and he says that he takes responsibility, but he will also be the architect of sending that demon out.
Everybody tries to look for a scapegoat to justify their actions. But my point is this, and it's valid. You start a journey with somebody. You're part of the foundation. You're part of building the infrastructure. And the infrastructure is ready. The rooms are equipped. You are still in that building. And then when it came to the point of assigning rooms, because you didn't get the room you wanted, you turn around to say, this building is rubbish. Logically, just think about it.
So you don't...
El-Rufai is an intellectual. I give that to him. El-Rufai is an experienced, like he called it, accidental public servant. His record as minister speaks for him. El-Rufai has been a governor for 8 years and has dealt with the dynamics of development, religion, ethnicity, and the rest of them. So I'm saying somebody with that level, with that kind of credential, we now suddenly will make a mistake from the start and then almost at the end wake up suddenly. You give people credit and based on their credentials.
You think all of this is selfish?
To some extent, it is.
But
and it's also okay because you're talking about democracy, you're talking about party politics. It's in the nature of politics. Permanent interest, not permanent friends. So when your interest does not align with what is operational, you're at liberty to move. And you must find a narrative, you must find a story to justify your action. And that's what we're finding.